The database became sort of the base for all of our inquiries. Now there was that list that I couldn't find before. We had made it. So now I could go through methodically and start looking at each one. T-shirts. Oh, well, let's take a look at that.
InSport is an athletic apparel company. They make T-shirts. Vital Apparel is their parent company.
In 2005, David Wu was among a group of Northwest legislators sponsoring a $2 million earmark for T-shirts to be worn by Marines as undergarments in combat. That same year, on a trip to Iraq, the Oregon congressman was promoting the shirts, handing them out for free to Marines. The earmark specified that the shirts be purchased from a Portland area company called InSport. Executives of InSport and its parent company would become Wu campaign contributors.
And as you can see, they gave substantial campaign contributions to David Wu in early 2006.
The T-shirts were made of polyester, but polyester shirts have a potentially dangerous flaw, demonstrated to Heath and Exposé by one of InSport's competitors.
The polyester will literally melt into plastic and stick to your skin.
It's basically hard.
Oh, yeah.
And that brittleness right there, that hardness is what would be on your skin, stuck to your skin.
The military has known of the danger for over 20 years, and a Marine in Iraq was severely burned when his polyester T-shirt melted following an explosion. The reporters couldn't confirm who manufactured the shirt. As a result of the incident, in April 2006, the Marines banned the use of all polyester T-shirts in combat. Yet 3 months later, because of the earmark, the Marines bought 87,000 of them from InSport, along with 11,000 T-shirts with fire-resistant sleeves. But even these, they wouldn't trust in battle.
The Marines were telling me that this product still wasn't certified for use outside the wire, that it wasn't something that could be used on combat missions.
2 months after that, Wu and his colleagues inserted another $1 million earmark for more InSport shirts.
So I was trying to figure out, why were they giving them another $1 million if they still didn't have a product that could work?
And then, interestingly, the day the bill passed, the next day he got another campaign contribution from InSport, and within 3 weeks he'd gotten a couple more. That just seems surreal.
With that last million, the Marines bought shirts from InSport that had not specifically been named in the earmark, flame-resistant fleeces. For Burnton and Heath, there were more earmarks to examine. In 2001, Senator Patty Murray put a $4.65 million earmark into the Coast Guard budget for this patrol boat. But, the Times would report, the Coast Guard hadn't asked for the boat. Not all in Congress were supportive.
And there's only one company in the country which produces such a vessel, and it just happens to be Guardian Marine International, located in Edmonds, Washington. Not only did the United States Coast Guard not ask for this vessel, they looked at the Guardian vessel, considered its merits, and concluded that it would not adequately meet the Coast Guard's needs. Taxpayers of America, look at the Guardian fast patrol craft, which will be yours, whether the Coast Guard wants it or not.
The Coast Guard didn't want it, and so it ended up here, where David Heath tracked it down, navigating the San Francisco Bay. It now belongs to a local county sheriff's office.
September 30th, 2005 was the day we picked up the boat from the Coast Guard station over here. We paid $1 for this boat, and I don't think we actually paid $1, but it was turned over to us.
As the Times would discover, Murray, with Washington Congressmen Norm Dix and Brian Baird, would sponsor millions in earmarks for 3 patrol boats for the Navy as well. None are being used as the earmarks directed. 2 have been shuttled off to military research facilities. And the third boat?
It turns out that the Navy gave the boat away to the University of Washington before the boat was even launched.
It was moored right here. We informed the Navy this isn't something that works for us, and what do you want to do?
The boat sat idle for more than a year. then was transferred to a branch of the National Weather Service in Vancouver, Washington. When the reporters followed the money, they found campaign contributions from the boat's builders to legislators who sponsored the earmarks. David Heath had begun his investigation with a question. Beyond the congressional lawbreakers, the bribe takers, the bad actors, is there something bigger going on?
This is not about an aberration. This is about a culture. This is about a system that's doing this. It's not just a bad congressman.
Don't for a moment think that the favor factory uncovered by Seattle Times reporter David Heath is unique to the Pacific Northwest. To the contrary, there are 535 members of Congress, and only 13 of them requested no earmarks last year. 13 out of 535.
We're in the money. We're in the money.
Top prize in the House for raking in the earmarks goes to Republican Roger Wicker of Mississippi with over $177 million. Before moving to the Senate this year, he was on the House Appropriations Committee, which attracts campaign contributions like honey attracts bees. Others on the top 10 list: Murtha, $176 million, Young, $169 million, Hoyer, $139 million, and on and on.
We're in the money. Come on, my honey.
Over in the Senate, the champion earmarker is Thad Cochran, also of Mississippi. He's the ranking member of the Senate Appropriations Committee. That's another big honeypot. Runners-up after Thad Cochran's $837 million are Landrieu, Stevens, Bond, Shelby, Inouye, Byrd, Murray, Clinton, and Durbin.
We're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes.
I rise today out of concern for what earmarks are doing to this body.
Republican Congressman Jeff Flake of Arizona has been fighting earmarks.
For every group that directly benefits from earmarks, there are hundreds who see it as a transparent gimmick to assure our own reelection. Mr. Speaker, our constituents deserve better. This institution deserves better than we're giving it. Let's return to the time-honored practice of authorization, appropriation, and oversight that has served us so well.
But look what happens when you take on the system. Jeff Flake wanted a seat on the House Appropriations Committee, but the party's leaders turned him down.
We're in the money.
Public discontent over the corruption of earmarks has produced some modest results. The House now requires members to put their names next to the projects receiving the money. At least citizens have a better chance of finding out who's getting the loot. Go to our website on pbs.org and you will find links to several watchdog groups like the Sunlight Foundation and Taxpayers for Common Sense, who have made it easier for all of us to follow the money.